right, this is review number 1 for chapter 3. Question 1, what is the constant rate of change between x and y in the table below? They're looking for the slope. The slope is just the change in y over the change in x. Well, y changes from here to here. I go down by 3, so my numerator is going to be -3, and my denominator looks like I go up by 2. So our answer is -3/2. Number 2, what is the slope of the line that passes through the points -2, 4, and -1, or excuse me, 1, -1? Our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, the change in y over the change in x. Our first point is an x1 and a y1. Second one would be our x2 and y2. And now we just plug it in. We want y2 first, that's a -1. We're going to subtract whatever y1 is, and y1 is 4. On the bottom, we want x2 first, that's 1. We're going to subtract whatever x1 is, and that is a -2. -1 minus 4, you can do it on your calculator, is a -5. 1 minus -2 is the same as 1 plus 2, and I'm just going to rewrite that as -5/3. Reduce it if you can. Number 3, what are 3 numbers that have a sum of 44 if the greatest number is 11 more than its least? So first of all, we want to double check that all of these have a sum of 44. Okay, that's the first thing it says, a sum of 44. So you're just going to add up all the numbers in A on your calculator. 1 plus 15 plus 12. It does not equal 44, so obviously it can't be an answer. Let's look at the next one. We're going to add these up in our calculator. 9 plus 14 plus 20. That equals 43, so that can't be our answer either. Okay, look at the next one. Add them up in your calculator. I get 44. Okay, so the first one is good. Is the greatest number 11 more than the least number? So I'm going to take the greatest number, which is 19, and I'm going to subtract the least number. I get 11. So that should be our answer. See, we can always double check the last one to make sure. Starting by adding all 3 together. 11 plus 16 plus 22 equals 49. So obviously it's not 44. The answer is C. Number 4. The profits from selling t-shirts at store A are shown in the graph. I'm going to stop right there. It says store A shown in the graph, so I'm going to label my graph A for store A. Okay, the profit Y for selling X t-shirts at store B is represented by the equation, I'm going to circle this, Y equals 3.75x. So somewhere over here, I'm going to write store B, okay, and there's an equation for store B, which is Y equals 3.75x. All right, we want to know which of these statements is true. We're going to have store A making a bigger profit than store B, or store B having a bigger profit than store A. Store A made this kind of profit, store B made this kind of profit. So let's talk about what profit means in this case. Profit meaning dollars per number sold. Okay. Obviously, since it says a profit per t-shirt, so we are talking about dollars per number sold. That is your slope. You want to find your slope, your y over x. That's your slope. You're changing y over changing x. All right, so let's do it. Okay. In this case, if you guys remember this is proportional since it goes through the origin. We can find the slope by just doing one single y over single x, but either way will work. You can find the slope as the change in y over change in x as well. So let me just erase some of this stuff so we can read this. All right, the slope, I'll go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, we're going to rise from here to here. We're going up by, well, 20 each time. So this is 20, 40, 60 over, okay, let's see, we're going up by 5s here, right? Each time we go over it's 5, so 5, 10, 15. All right, we're going to divide that, and we get 4 even. So that's our slope. So the m equals 4. That's not my answer. That's the slope of the graph. That's the profit per t-shirt for store A. Okay. So we could also do that for store B. We could find the slope of store B. Hopefully you remember this is y equals mx plus b. Does anybody know what the b is in this case? The b would be plus 0. We've done that. Okay, but the m is what we want. We want the m here. We want the slope. The slope is right here. So for store B, we have 3.75, and for store A, we have 4. So I'm going to write that over here. Store A. Phone calls going on. Store A has a slope of 4. I'm going to write it as 4.00. Store B has a slope of 3.75. Okay? So you're looking for which one had a greater profit. Well, obviously store A has a greater profit because $4 is more than $3.75. So store A has a greater profit. Okay? You can also double check that H and I are not true because H says store A made a profit of $3.50 per t-shirt. Well, obviously no, because they made $4. And store B made a profit of $4 per t-shirt. Nope, store B only makes $3.75 per t-shirt. What are the slope and the y-intercept for the graph of y plus 9x equals negative 6? Remember, we can only read the slope and y-intercept from slope-intercept form. Okay, is this one in slope-intercept form? No, it is not. I need to get rid of that 9x to get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So this will be y equals negative 9x minus 6. I can't combine those. They are not like terms. So they want to know the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is negative 9, and the y-intercept, the b, is a negative 6. What is the equation in slope-intercept form for the line shown? Okay, again, we want y equals mx plus b. So here I need to find m and b. Well, m is the slope, so let's find the slope of this graph. If I go from here down to here, it looks like I have to go downhill. Remember, my guy's over here. He's going to go down this slide. So he has to go down 2, which is a negative 2, and he runs over 1. Slope is negative 2. So we have y equals negative 2x. Now we need to find the y-intercept. Where does it hit this y-axis? Right here. It hits it right there. That is at negative 1. So that's on your answer line. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. Number 7, Alice is having her birthday party at a game center. The center charges $100 plus $20 per guest. The total cost of the party Y can be represented by the equation Y equals 20x, $20 per guest, plus the extra $100. What does the y-intercept represent? Well, right here, what does it represent? It says it right here. The center charges $100. So this answer, we're going to look at these. Is it the number of guests? No. Is it the cost per guest? No. The cost to rent the game center? Maybe. Would it be her age? No. The only one that makes sense is B for this one. Okay? It's the cost to rent the game center. The other ones just don't make sense. It's a cost. But it's not the cost per guest because that's the one right here. $20 per guest. So slope right here, y equals mx plus b. This is our slope. That's the $20 per guest, cost per guest. Which equation passes through -2, 4 and has a slope of 3? Well, these are all in slope-intercept form, like y equals mx plus b. So what we're going to do first is put it into point slope form, which I'll write down here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we'll start with that equation and then we'll transform it to slope-intercept. All right, let's label these. We have an x1 and a y1, and this is our m slope. So we have y minus y1 is 4. Equals m is the slope. I want 3 here times x minus, I need x1 to go next, and x1 is a -2. Don't forget that extra negative sign. Okay, let's rewrite this a little cleaner. This is y minus 4 equals 3 times x plus 2. Minus a negative becomes a plus. Plus a positive. All right, from here, we're going to distribute our 3. So we have y minus 4 equals 3x plus 3 times 2 is 6. And then last, you need to get rid of this -4 by adding 4 to both sides. Make sure you line it up under your constant. So y will equal 3x plus 10. Do we have an answer like that? Yes, we do, right here. What are the x and y intercepts for the graph of 3x minus 2y equals 12? Remember, we have an x-intercept when y equals 0. All right, so we're going to plug in 0 for y. I'm just rewriting this up here with a 0 in for y. 3x minus 2 times 0 will equal 12. Now this piece will go away because anything times 0 is 0. So this is 3x will equal 12. And when we divide by 3, we'll find that x equals 4. And we write that as an ordered pair. The x is 4, the y is 0. All right, let's find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x is 0. So if x is 0, I'm going to rewrite this again up here. It's 3 times x, which would be 0 in this case, minus 2y equals 12. This time this goes away. So I'm left with negative 2y equals 12. Don't forget to divide by that negative 2. So y will equal a negative 6. And our point for this, our coordinate would be 0 for the x and negative 6 for the y. So we have 4, 0 and 0, -6. Okay, Candace has $15 more than Amar. Their combined money totals $85. So let's see. Candace has 15 more than Amar. Combined, they have 85. Which system of equations represents this situation? Well, I think pretty much everybody can get the second equation here. Their combined money totals 85. Hopefully you know that means to add. So I would be adding Candace and Amar. So this should be something like this. C plus A, what is their combined total equal? 85. So if you see one where C plus A doesn't equal 85, you know that's not the right answer. So here we have C plus A equals 85. That one's good. C plus A equals 85 here. This one says C plus A is 15, so it's definitely not going to be H. And this one doesn't have any plus in it, so we're going to not use that one either. All right, this other equation, which is this information here, can be read a few different ways. Okay, let's start off with what Candace has. Well, if Amar has $A, then Candace, who has 15 more, should be this A plus 15, right? 15 more. So this would be C equals A plus 15. All right, to get it to look like one of these, I would have to move A to the other side, subtract A, right? So this is C minus A equals 15. If you get that, that's awesome, okay? But let me show you another way. If Candace has 15 more than Amar, then if you take Candace and subtract Amar's amount, you should come up with that 15 extra. So Candace's money minus Amar's money has to be that extra $15. Either way you look at it, the answer here is G. Which of the following is the solutions to the system of equations shown? This used to be a multiple choice question. It obviously is not anymore. But you can give me the solution to this system. That's where they meet up. They meet up at that point right there. So this is the x-axis we're going to read first. So we're over at 1, 2, 3 on the x. And we're down at 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y. That's a -4. So they meet at 3, -4. All you're doing is reading that point where they meet. What is the solution to the system of equations? Okay, the easiest way to do this one is by substitution. I'm going to plug this in for y down here. Okay, so instead of y, I'm going to rewrite this bottom equation. Sorry, I had people come in, I lost my place. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this bottom equation. Instead of y equals 3x, I'm going to put in what y was up here. So it's going to be x plus 2 instead of the y equals, well, y equals 3x. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to solve for x. I need to get all my variables on one side. So I have an x here, and I have some x's here. So I'm going to move this x. I'm going to subtract this 1x. I'll put a 1 there so we know it's 1x. Subtract 1x here. Okay, that gets rid of it over there. We have 2 equaling 2x. Now we can solve for x by dividing by 2. And we have x equals 1. Okay, once we have x, we need to find y by plugging x back into either one of these two equations. So So I'm going to rewrite the top equation, which says y equals x plus 2. And now I'm going to plug this x in right here. So instead of x, it's going to be 1. So y will equal 3. Let's write that as an ordered pair. X comes first. It's 1, comma 3. And that is answer H. Last one, same thing as the other one. Y equals this. I'm going to plug it in for this y down here. Basically setting the two equal to each other. I have 2x plus 2 will equal 4x minus 2. Okay, we're going to solve for x. We have variables on both sides. I'm going to undo this smaller one. I'm going to draw my line here too. Okay, when I do it to one side, I have to also do it to the other side. They're going to cancel off on the left, leaving me with just a 2. 4x minus 2x is going to be 2x, and I still have a minus 2 over here. Now I need to get everything away from the x on the right by doing the addition first. Getting rid of that negative 2. This is going to be 4 equals 2x. Last thing, we're going to divide by 2 to get the x to itself. So 2 equals x. So we have x, we need to get y. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this first equation right here. I'm going to rewrite it down here. We have y equals 2x plus 2. Okay, and I'm going to plug this x in for that one. So y equals, this is multiplication, excuse me, this is multiplication. It's 2 times x. Well, 2 times, what did we just say x was? 2. And then we're going to add 2. So y is going to equal 4 plus 2. Therefore, y must equal 6. As an ordered pair, x comes first, y comes second. 2 comma 6 is answer D. And that is your review number 1.